What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. The Jason Garrett saga has finally come to an end as the Cowboys have parted ways with head coach Jason Garrett, who is now former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's finally over after a 5-day soap opera between him and the organization. It's finally a done deal as he will be not a part of the Cowboys organization no more. Won't be a part of the organization at all in any capacity. And I thought that was the reason why they were, having 3 or 4 meetings. I thought they was trying to maybe get a chance to convince him to maybe reassign his position inside the organization, maybe take a position in the front office. But I think Jason Garrett wants to be a coach. I think maybe he wants to I'm just speculating now, maybe he wants to take a 1-year break, a 1-year hiatus, and then get back into coaching, whether it be a head coach or offensive coordinator. That's just pure speculation, but he obviously turned down the job offer to be working in the front office, which I can't blame him because, what kind of power you going to have in the front office? Everybody knows this is the Jerry Jones show in Dallas. He's going to run the show. He's grooming his son, Stephen Jones, to be the heir apparent to take over long term. So I believe Jason Garrett said, okay, you offer me this courtesy position in the front office, but what kind of say I'm going to have as far as personnel decisions? I'm just going to be a figurehead. So, I'd rather just move on and try to hook on with another team because I think I can still be a head coach or at least offensive coordinator for a team either next season or the season after next. So I think that's what pretty much happened, and that's why we're at this point right now, man. Jason Garrett has moved on from the Dallas Cowboys. He was there 9 seasons, had 4 8-8 records, 4 8-8 seasons out of the 9. Had 3 playoff seasons out of the 9. He went 13-3. I think 1 year, went 12-4 another year, and then went 10-6 last season. So he had 3 playoff teams out of 9 years. So that's 3 out of 9. That'd be good if you playing baseball, 3 for 9. You batting .333. But as far as football, that's not good, man. That's a little bit less than mediocre. So his tenure there was less than spectacular. Didn't measure up to the likes of Jimmy Johnson and Tom Landry. And now him and his team has parted ways. So we'll see what happens, man. The coaches that I'm hearing that are being linked to the Dallas Cowboys are Urban Meyer, former head coach of Ohio State and former head coach of the Florida Gators, who has a great track record at those 2 programs, led both of those programs to national championships, and he's got a great resume. Another guy that they're talking about is Lincoln Riley, a bright young mind, a bright young offensive mind that has put Oklahoma State in the playoffs, the last 2 seasons that made the playoffs. And I think, and he was offensive coordinator the other time they made it with Baker Mayfield. I think it was Baker Mayfield sophomore year. I think that was his sophomore year. He made it as the offensive coordinator under Bob Stoops. So he's one of the very top of the list, bright young offensive mind. And he said he's led the program of the Oklahoma Sooners to 2 straight playoffs. And he took over the throne from Bob Stoops, and the program haven't missed a beat. And in some cases, they strived a little higher than even with Bob Stoops was there. Because the last 3 or 4 years, it got kind of stale under Bob Stoops, as they were still winning their games and winning bowl games, but they were not competing for national championships. Outside that 1 year, Bob Stoops won, 2000? I think it was his second year at Oklahoma when he won a national championship at Oklahoma. They beat Florida State and Chris Winkie. So that's another guy they're looking at. Another guy that I'm hearing, a dark horse coach I'm hearing is Coach Mazzone, the coach of Florida Gators. He came from Mississippi State, I think. He was at Mississippi State. He coached Dak Prescott at Mississippi State. So that Dak Prescott put up huge numbers under the offense led by head coach Doug Mazzone in Starksville, Mississippi. So that could be a possibility. Another guy I'm hearing is offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, Josh McDaniels, as he's he's one of the top offensive coordinators in the NFL, and he's been sought by a lot of teams the last couple of seasons. So he might be looking to finally take that second plunge and try to take over a program and have more success than he had when he was with the Denver Broncos when it didn't go so well. Got a little bit more mature, learned from the experience of the Denver Broncos failure, and maybe he could do what his protege Bill Belichick did when he improved at what he did from Cleveland, which was a failure, the tenure at Cleveland. He went to New England and became the best head coach in NFL history, winning 6 Super Bowl rings with the New England Patriots. So we'll see what happens, man. But that's the story of the night. Breaking news, man. Jason Garrett and the Dallas Cowboys have parted ways, and it's finally over with. The soap opera is over with. And we can all get on with our lives. We can all move on. We'll see what happens, man. But we'll see what transpires, man, because the Cowboys got to make a lot of decisions, starting with the quarterback, Dak Prescott, who is now a free agent. They need to make a decision on him. Will they want to franchise him, or do they offer him a big contract that could hamstring them as far as signing other core players on the roster? You know, that they have to sign cornerback Byron, the cornerback out of UConn, is a free agent. They got a couple of other players on the defense side of the ball that they want to re-sign, but if they sign Dak to maybe like $35 million a year, they're going to probably end up losing 2 or 3 of their core players on the defensive side of the ball. So they got to make a decision. If I'm the Cowboys, I offer Dak maybe a contract, maybe 3-year contract, maybe $25 million a year and $75 million total, and I guarantee majority of it, and tell them to take this, man, and you know, so we can still build this team. We got some roster enhancement we need to do. If he refuses to do that, then I'll just franchise him and make him a top 5 highest paid quarterback in the NFL, the average of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just franchise him for 1 year and see how it plays out. And then if I'm satisfied with what he's doing, he's made improvement from year 4 to year 5. I think this is 4th season. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 this year. From year 4 to year 5, then I've been thinking about signing him to a multi-year contract. But we'll see what happens, man. A lot of decisions need to be made in Dallas, but this decision has finally come to an end with the Jason Garrett tenure with the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll see what's next in Big D. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.